Welcome back to a look at the 1968 student walkouts, where there was a demand for educational justice in Los Angeles. Joining me now are Maria Brenes, Executive Director of InnerCity Struggle, and Jose Luis Orea, a Roosevelt High School student. Welcome. Talk to me, Maria. What's going on the East Side?
Well, InnerCity Struggle, we have been for 14 years organizing young people and families, community residents, to continue to build a voice for change and to build power, youth power, parent power, to ensure that our schools do a better job of ensuring that all students graduate and all students go on to college. And we really take a lot of inspiration from the 1968 movement. For us, they are really the foundation of a legacy of struggle that through our work we are continuing to continue and to demand better for our community, for our young people, for the next generation, to ensure that our entire community is better served and that the quality of life, because of education, there will be more doctors, more lawyers, more teachers, so the entire community's well-being is very much connected to the quality of public education.
In 1968, the East Side high schools walked out demanding access to those college classes, demanding relief from overcrowding, demanding human rights on many levels. What are students today challenged by on the East Side?
Unfortunately, some of those very challenges exist today. And one of the ways in which students' rights are really being violated is that they're forced to attend school in extremely overcrowded conditions. So Garfield and Roosevelt now are some of the most overcrowded high schools in the entire country, with more than 5,000 students enrolled. Schools that were originally designed for 1,500 students. And I know that in 1968, one of the demands was a new high school because students then felt that the schools were overcrowded. I can only imagine now what those same students are thinking. They could ever have seen these schools get larger. And so what that really creates is a situation where students fall through the cracks. You know, there isn't a sufficient number of teachers to be able to adequately teach all students so that they are prepared for this global economy and are able to have real options to go to college or join the 21st century workforce. So the overcrowded condition has really demonstrated a neglect on the part of the district, on the part of the state, and a part of the entire society to allow those conditions to exist.
Right. And student leadership, we're recognizing them 40 years ago, and today, Jose Luis, you are one of our student leaders at Roosevelt. What are students at Roosevelt dealing with?
One of the problems that we have at Roosevelt is that we have our numbers in classes are large. We have 40, 50 students in one class, and especially in those classes that are supposed to be A through G or college prep classes, AP classes. We have students like 50, 55 in one class, so the attention that we get from the teacher is not is not the same as if the class was 25 students. So out of those 50 students, 55, only one out of those 55 will end up passing the test.
And when you think about the walkouts in '68 and how students were organized to demand change, how is that relevant to your work today as part of United Students?
We look back and we look at them and we get inspired by their work because we do the same thing today, because things have not changed and because we know that we need a drastic change. We need those numbers of students going to college to go up. We need more than 88%, 90% students going to college. We need those numbers to go up, and the A through G classes as well. Students want to get organized. Students want a change in their community. They want a change in their school. And we're seeing this by organizing, by demanding our demands, and by getting what we need in our schools.
Yeah, that's great. That's great to hear. Was there a study that InnerCity Struggle released recently about the statistics at Eastside high schools?
Yes, Jose and other student leaders from Roosevelt, Garfield, Lincoln, Wilson High School, including Hollenbeck Middle School, conducted a survey with over 5,000 students. And one of the questions that they asked students is, do you want to go to college after you graduate from high school? And the overwhelming response was yes from 93% of students. So what that tells us is that there is a very strong desire and goal among students to obtain higher education. Unfortunately, when we look at the resources available, they don't match that interest and that desire. This past year, out of all the classes available at Roosevelt High School, only 50% were the classes that are required to be able to go to a Cal State or UC school, and those classes are called the A to G requirements. And so when you have 50% of those courses at a school with over 5,000 students on a track system, you know, because it's year-round, then those opportunities are really shrinking. And when we ask students who encourages you the most to go to college, overwhelmingly they said their parents. And so that really demystifies the notion of low income, in particular low income Latino parents, not valuing higher education, because in fact the students are getting the message at home that they should pursue higher education. But again, our schools and our districts aren't providing what's necessary in order to really be able to meet that dream for our families.
So as somebody who was born in 1968 and having the opportunity to look back 40 years, I think as we look forward and we recommit ourselves to educational justice, I'm interested, what do you think, what is it that we need to do to get to 100% graduation in Los Angeles?
Well, one of the things that we've been doing, we've been working for the past 4 years, was getting our high schools getting built at East LA. We had a big rally, protest. We demanded our schools, 2 schools to get built in East LA, and we got those 2 schools. So that's one of the releases, that Roosevelt and Garfield are going to have less students and more teachers. And more teachers are going to be teaching the A through G courses and getting what they need in order to go to college. So that's one of the steps. That's one of those steps that we need to take, that we have been taking, in order to get 100% graduation rate.
That's excellent. Maria, how do you see the community involved in setting up our goals for the next 40 years?
I think the most critical part and role that we play as community is pushing the envelope and raising the expectations. So when our community and our students told us that they want to go to college, we also conducted a survey among parents. 99% of parents said they want their child to go to college, of the parents we surveyed from the Eastside. And so for us, that's a mandate that our community wants more. They want higher expectations. They want more rigor in our schools. And so we took that mandate to the heart, and we built alliances with elected officials and with other organizations across the city whose communities are being impacted with the same issues that we see in the Eastside in our schools. And in 2005, our campaign and this effort that really is a continuance of 1968, because back then that's what students wanted. And so we really learned from what they did, and we took a strategy of organizing communities across the city and demanded that this district make college the expectation for all. And so I think the community's role is critical to ensuring that our public institutions like education do a better job of serving their constituents. And as InnerCity Struggle, as a community-based institution, we're going to continue to develop leaders like Jose Orea, who, by the way, has been accepted to several Cal State universities.
Excellent.
And will be going on and getting education, and has committed to return to East LA to continue to be make these contributions. And what's so great about the work of our organization in building these leaders is that they have a sense of responsibility to their community, and their education is about giving back.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to be continuing to grow this work.
Absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to working with InnerCity Struggle and Roosevelt to move this along. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Jose Luis. Thank you for joining us today. It is wonderful to recommit ourselves to another 40 years of fighting for educational justice. LAUSD has to be the leader in education reform in the United States, and we will do it by working with student leadership, community leadership, and absolutely all of our stakeholders to make sure we get to 100% graduation. Sí se puede.